In this video, I'm going to explain to you why Mulan and Shang are actually the worst couple Disney ever created. Hear me out before you start defending them. Hello friends and family members, I'm Megan, your host for everything movie related here on the Fangirl. In 2018, I did this kind of MST3K style video series called Talking Through Movies, in which I, provided commentary over movies. Unfortunately, I had to drop that series, but those of you who watched them love them, and those of you who saw my commentary on Mulan too know how much I despise Mulan and Shang together. They just really make a terrible couple. Okay, let's stack those receipts. In the original movie, Shang and Mulan had a working relationship. A lot of people joke that Shang was questioning his sexuality before he discovered Mulan was a girl, which is kind of a fair point. I mean, Shang never tried to make out with Mulan's guy form Ping, but it did feel like there was this weird romantic tension just from Shang's side. Honestly though, I just never felt like Mulan reciprocated. From Mulan's perspective, she seemed to be a model soldier trying to make her commanding officer happy while doing the best she could for her nation. There was never any sly smile or glance at Shang as a man, just that smug, see, I could make it to the top of the post to get that arrow moment. Bottom line, none of it was romantic for Mulan, and once she was outed as a woman, her interactions with Shang were more like, I can't believe my gender is what dictates to you whether or not I'm a competent soldier. Never like, oh hey honey, we can date now, yay! She was better than that. Even after China was saved, Mulan took her gifts from the emperor and went home. She didn't wait around for Shang or try to ask him out. Their working relationship was done and there was nothing left to it. And Shang was kind of on the fence as to whether or not he liked Mulan or he was just butthurt that he had been tricked. But after the emperor had a little chat with him, suddenly Shang shows up at Mulan's house to start a courtship. Now Mulan didn't oppose that, and she actually seems kind of happy that Shang followed her home, which FYI, do not do that. I don't care how cute you think you are, showing up at somebody's house unexpected is just jarring. Maybe that was okay back in the 1990s, but it's 2020 now, and there are serial killers out there, man. But on Mulan's side of things, she just risked her life, disobeyed national law and her family rules, and then got the gratitude of the emperor. So she's probably in this weird spot where she doesn't know if her father's really happy with her or if she's still a disappointment. But she does know her father wants her to find a good husband. And that desire isn't going to stop just because Mulan retired as the greatest soldier China has ever seen. They're still going to push her to get married. So in walks Shang, a general in the army who also has the esteem of the emperor. And Mulan's like, hey, maybe I could hit a home run with my family and also make up for that matchmaker debacle. And in this situation, I would get some say-so in the matter over being paired with some rando, so Shang showing up at her house was really convenient. Don't get me wrong, I love Mulan, but I never once felt a real lovey-dovey vibe between her and Shang. It was just never a main plot point for the movie. At best, you could call the romance maybe plotline Q that was enough to build something on over time, eventually. But then came Mulan 2, which is just an abomination of animation. I'm not gonna waste the time to list everything wrong with that movie, but it's basically everything after that first song. Really, I adored that all the village girls were all amped up to be just like Mulan, but then the movie just tanked from there, because even though Mulan herself was going along with an arranged marriage just a few months prior, she's now convinced that arranged marriages are evil and that no woman should ever have to settle. Then there happened to be those three emperor's daughters who just perfectly match the needs of the three unattached soldiers from the first movie. And it's just like, OMG, how lazy of a writing staff can you have? But all of that pales in comparison to how Shang acts in the second movie. Alright, I know people get mad at me if I don't get onto both parties. So, let me say quite clearly that Mulan was no shrinking violet angel here either. She also said and did things that were not on par with her character. But Shang became over-the-top controlling, verbally abusive, and he just had this air about him like Mulan was his subordinate for life. It was not a healthy look into their future. Yes, there were outside influences involved, like Mushu pushing Shang's buttons, but at the end of the day, Shang still chose how to conduct himself and showed us that it didn't take much for him to flip that angry switch. That should have been a huge red flag that this was a couple not destined to live happily ever after. Yet because Shang was believed to have fallen to his death, and Mulan was so relieved to find out that he didn't, the two just got back together like none of those issues needed to be dealt with. Girl, that anger is just seething right under his surface. You cannot fix people, you just end up beaten or miserable or dead in the process. Run! And it upsets me that Disney so carelessly put this couple together for all the little girls in the world to see. Disney knows the power that these characters have over kids, and glossing over abusive tendencies so that Disney can wrap this happily ever after up in a neat little bow is horrific. Don't normalize that. Don't even imply to kids that that's acceptable or you can learn to live with it. Explain to kids that their worth and happiness are not dependent on someone else. And if you feel like a relationship is not a good fit, you can and should end it. We have to stop drilling into the youth of the world that you can just love someone into treating you right. It doesn't work that way. And certainly in Shang's defense, Mushu's not going to mess with him anymore, so there's that. But what happens when the next irritant comes along? What if Mulan outranks her husband? Or what if Shang and Mulan have kids and he doesn't like how she's doing something? What's he going to do then to deal with his frustration? Hit her? Because that's the scenario I see playing out. Mulan's father was a very gentle man who never raised a hand to her, and that's why she all but crumbled when he yelled at her in front of everybody. She had never really had his disapproval before, not even when she messed up with the matchmaker. Yet Mulan takes on Shang's anger like it's second nature and something that's easy to forgive and forget. And the only road that can lead to is an unhappy life. I'd like to say I expected better from Disney, but it wasn't until, 2016 that we got our first female-based movie where a romantic story arc wasn't shoved at her. Merida doesn't count because her entire plot revolves around getting married and not wanting to do it. So the romance is still there, she just doesn't want it. Moana is actually the first time that the princess doesn't get any type of romantic story arc, and I approve. Still, there's nothing wrong with having a romantic subplot in any movie as long as it's done tastefully. Mulan and Shang, though, hands down the worst couple in the media, and especially the worst couple that Disney ever created. They should have never been greenlit to get married with his anger issues. I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot to do the derps. Totally already went and changed and took my doll away and everything. And hey, if you're new here or you've never watched this far into a video, derps are just kind of hanging out at the end of the video. It's not really part of the video or anything, so you can leave if you're not interested in me as a person. But hey, the original Mulan movie has some great music, so let's derp out to some of that soundtrack. Or at least in my own copyright, hopefully not claimable way. This is what you give me to work with. Well, honey, I've seen worse. We're gonna turn this owl's ear into a silk purse. We'll have you washed and dried, primped and polished till you glow with pride. Trust my recipe for instant bride. You'll bring honor to us all. Did I skip? I feel like I'm skipping chunks here. It's been a minute. Oh well, we'll keep skipping. Ancestors, hear my plea. Help me not to make a fool of me. And do not uproot my family tree. Keep my father standing strong. Scarier than the Undertaker, we are meeting our matchmaker. Dressed away parlor girls, like a future as it fast unwhirls. Please look kindly on these punctured girls, each a perfect porcelain doll. I feel like the words didn't even fit anymore. They just fit into the song, but they weren't the right words. Oh well, Derpson is derpsy. There's a spider on my wall. I gotta go, guys. Send help. And Shang was kind of on the fence about whether he liked Mulan or he was butthurt that she lied to him. Ah, what are you? And glossing over abusive tendencies so that they can try to wrap up a happily Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, "Hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that?" Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos, like you, helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.